I only podcast because my family needs the money.
Liar.
Liar.
I only podcast because this wicked world won't let me work an honest trade.
Liar.
I only podcast because I've temporarily fallen in with bad company.
Liar.
I only podcast because it's heaps of fucking fun.
Bastard.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vassals of Kingsgrave, Gentleman Bastards edition. Today we are going to be discussing the Gentleman Bastard series sequence.
Gentleman Bastard sequence.
Gentleman Bastard sequence. Bastard. By Scott Lynch. There will be spoilers for all published books in the series, and probably spoilers also for A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. Martin, because that's just how we roll. My name is Michal. I go by Ink as Rain on the forums, and today I am joined by Stephanie.
Hi.
And Lee.
Hey, everybody.
And Vikram.
I prefer to be called Garista Vikram. I go by as 42 on the forums.
What's your gang name?
VOK.
Ah, okay. I hear they're fierce. But talkative. All right, so let's quickly go through how we all discovered these. I was seriously about to say A Song of Ice and Fire. How we all discovered the Gentleman Bastard sequence by Scott Lynch. Stephanie, why don't you go first?
You know, I don't remember how I discovered it. I think it had something to do with George R. R. Martin having a quote on the thing, on the page. Yeah.
That is a big attraction. When did you start reading them? Like recently, or?
Well, I read the first one 2 years ago over winter break, and then I read the second one this past summer, and then I read the third one, just over December. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Lee, how about you?
I also read them quite recently. January. I started reading them in December, and I finished them all mid-January. I'm pretty sure it was George R. Martin related too. I just saw that he liked them, so I thought, why not? And I was right because they were great. Or George was right because they were great, whatever. And they're really fun. I don't know. They're good books. They're exciting. They're well-written and clever. What's not to love?
Yeah.
Agreed. Vikram doesn't, but...
No, I enjoyed at least the first two books, and I only started reading them because of Manderley's plug on the Christmas Films episode, VOK,
Really?
not VOK, sorry, Podcast of Ice and Fire 130, and he described it as Ocean's 11 set in a fantasy world, and that got me. I was like, oh, I got to read it now.
Yep, that's it. That's the series. We can all go home now.
That sounds way too eloquent to be me.
Oh, it was you, and I was like, wow, that sounds interesting. I should check it out. And plus, you guys were also planning on doing a podcast on this, so it all sounded very interesting. Something I can get into.
Yeah, they're such fun books.
Awesome. So I found the books, I feel like a grandparent here. I read the first one in like 2007, I think before Red Seas was even out. And then I just basically read each one as they came out after the really, really long, painful wait for Republic of Thieves, which none of you experienced. Yeah, so I was really happy to get back into the world, and I also basically like begged an advance copy of the book off of Anne Grohl, except I didn't know that she was Anne Grohl at the time at San Diego Comic-Con. So that's one of like my personal highlights ever. So that is how I got into that. And then I think I got back into them somewhat recently, like before I knew about Republic of Thieves, because I told my little brother to read them, and so he was like reading them and talking to me about them, so kind of fell back into the world of the Gentleman Bastards. So let's see. Okay, let's lemon cake / we haven't decided exactly. I want to go with like maybe shark cakes.
Sure.
Or was it snifters of Osterschalen brandy?
Oh yes, we could do that too. We're democratic here. Everybody can decide how they want to judge. So I think personally I would give the first book probably 4.5 shark cakes. It's just so much fun to read, and it's so easy to get into this world. The second book I'd probably give 3.5. And then Republic of Thieves, I think I would give a solid 4. Vikram, you're gonna go last. So, Lee, why don't you go?
Sure. All right. I would say I gave the first one like 4.5 jumping murder sharks, which is my rating. Is that what they're called? That's not what they're called. What are they called?
Komori sharks or
Komori
just
sharks.
Razor
Yeah.
sharks, armor sharks,
sharks.
iron sharks.
Hammerhead.
Yeah.
Now we're just naming animals.
Shocking lack of knowledge.
I'd give the first one like a 4.5, like a 5 on enjoyment, but like a 4.5 on like, if we're being realistic, on like actual quality. I'd give the second one a 4 on both. Third one like a 4.25. Sharks. 4.25 sharks.
High praise. Stephanie, what about you?
I don't know. I think I'd give the first one like 4 things of Osterschall and Brandy for like the writing, because I remember thinking when I read it, like, oh my god, this guy cannot stop using the word alchemical. He just like says it every 2 sentences.
Don't forget solar plexus also.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Where's this solar plexus thing? And I looked up its chest. Why don't you say just chest?
She does do stuff like that a lot.
In the third book, it's handball. Like, the
Yep.
word handball appears like 6 times in the first, like, 30 pages. I was like, Locke's dying. Why are we talking about a handball?
And then on enjoyment, I'd say it's like 4.75. See, the second one, I'd give it a 4.5 for the writing, but I'd deduct like 3/4 lemon or 3/4 things for, and before they it just plods and plods and plods until they end up on Zamira's boat, and it just like it took me forever to get through that part, but then once they got on Zamira's boat, I finished it in 24 hours. So if I was to do that first like 400 pages of Red Seasoned or Red Skies, it'd be like a 2 for enjoyment, but then the rest of it would be an absolute 5.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the second book, I mean, not to get too much into the discussion of it now, but I think that I was very entertained when they were actually in Talvarar, and I was like, oh, this is cool, this is enjoyable. You know, I liked hearing about, you know, Jean's little band of whatever, and then it was like, wait, why are we learning how to sail? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then it definitely does pick up. I found that on a reread, when I knew what to expect, it wasn't as bad. But yeah, it definitely does drag at first.
Yeah. And then I don't know, I really enjoyed Republic of Thieves. I'm not sure about the writing because I'm just not an English person, or a literary person. I'd give the writing about 4s always, or just a solid 4, because I don't know, I liked the I don't know, 4, and then enjoyment 5, but
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna unleash the
Lots of
red
damage.
shark.
Or the devilfish. So I'm going to
The
stick with the
Vikram
lemon
shark.
cake rating because I have a very good analogy prepared. So Lies of Loch Lamora, 5 out of 5. Excellent work. It was worth the hype. Really, really good. Then I enjoyed the second book, but I have a hard time making out whether I enjoyed it more than the first or not. The tension was really there. I enjoyed every part of it. There was no part where I felt bored or anything. Training and becoming pirates and everything, and the pirate life was pretty cool. Although it was a very PG-13 pirate.
yes, they were.
So I would say I would give it maybe, because I gave the first one 5, I would give it 4.5 lemon cakes. And now the third book, Republic of Thieves. I would give it a lemon cake that's been sitting outside for a month. It's lost its moisture and juiciness, and it tastes like cardboard. Yeah, it's a lemon. Book three is a lemon cake that's been sitting outside and almost gone spoiled,
One
and made
individual
you
lemon cake.
one lemon cake that's spoiled and that kind of made you sick also.
So it's like,
So,
so
see,
it's like
here's
negative
yeah,
lemon cakes or like
yeah.
complex lemon cakes.
It's
They don't
good.
exist.
It's okay, but not by what I come to expect from the other two books. I mean, here's my couple of things. It's that
Wow.
the Bond mages are right there, so the entire mystery and mystique was gone for me. There was no tension. Like I was pretty sure why, I don't know why, but I was pretty sure that Locke and the gang was gonna come out of the other side alive. And then the romance, boy, was it so mushy. It only had a few specks of granola bar and raisins in it, but otherwise a very mushy romance. I hated that.
Wait,
I
okay, so Vic, what would qualify as a raisin
uh
in? Because I don't usually think of raisins as good things.
well, no, I mean
What would be the good raisin in the spoiled lemon cake flavored granola bar of the romance between Locke and
it's
Sapphire?
kind of hard to say. I'm only being fair. Don't want to be too harsh on it. That's why
No, no, no. No,
I
I'm
that's why
seriously
I'm
interested.
throwing in a few raisins in it. I Well, the ending was interesting. Kind of set up a whole new thing. I'm glad they brought back the Falconer. Is that how you say it? Again, apologies for my pronunciation during this podcast. I can't help it. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know whether if I like that they brought back Falconer in this again. Um, yeah. The entire election thing, it was very simple, like all the schemes they came across were all, oh, let's burn something down or let's hide stolen treasure in somebody's house. It felt very simple.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't on the level of like them sneaking into Reckon's tower and trying to steal
Yeah.
his art, and then Reckon pulling one over on them.
Yeah. I don't know, but
Which I just like lost my shit at that point. I was just like, yes.
Vic
But
always hates anything romance related, though.
I was actually thinking about that. I kind of hated the Hunger Games because of the romance, but I actually enjoyed Jon Snow and Ygritte stuff. So I think here's a romance I like is when the point of view character is the one being seduced. He's not the guy chasing the other person around. And in this one, Locke was chasing Sabetta around, and Sabetta came across as very cold, reserved, rude person. Who you cannot trust. So I did not see what the big deal with Saveta was. I mean, all she was always treating Locke bad.
yeah, I mean, and Locke's kind of like, I wouldn't say creepy like with his like fixation with her, but like it's like not very far from creepy. I mean, I just like don't know why, or I mean, like yeah, like she can keep up with him. Like she's like like she's in fact better than him at being a con artist, but like, eh.
Yeah, I mean he tried to put in a few stories like when they were kids and they were set up with that task, right? That Locke had to follow her and figure out what she was carrying in the basket. And when Locke pretended to be caught by the police, Sabetha gave up the game and came and tried to rescue him from the police, right? Or what is it? The
Yeah.
gold jackets? Yellow jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, yellow jackets. There were a few nice things he did put in, Scott did put in about Sabetta, but they were just so few and in far between that I didn't see the appeal at all.
I like Sabetha a lot, but like, yeah, they're like Locke's reasons for being attracted to her could have been worked on.
I don't know. I actually don't really agree with that. Like, I can totally understand why he finds her so appealing.
I kind of, this is something that I feel is for me a personal theme through the books, which is that they are, I mean, they're not Martin-esque, but they are pretty rough. They're a rough story. It's not like cozy and cuddly or anything. But then you have these exploits of these kids who are very jaded and everything, but they are children at the same time. And I appreciate that innocence. I like that Locke fell in love with Sabetha, because she was basically the bright spot in his life.
Yeah.
I like that there is an element of innocence even as they're they're growing up. And I agree, like obviously Sabitha is her own person and she's not just there for Locke to fall in love with. And I think Scott maybe actually makes that point too many times. Like she repeats that a lot.
Yeah.
As valid as it is. But I don't know. The genesis of it seems valid to me. I'm actually with you, Vic. I thought the Hunger Games was destroyed by the love triangle, totally ruined. But in this case, I also think because we've known about it for 3 books, it didn't surprise me. I was excited to see what would happen.
Yeah, and I also like that. Like, she doesn't have to be perfect for it to make a lot of sense. Like. It's not necessarily like he's not in love with her because she's the perfect woman. He's in love with her because he is. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like that said, I'm a complete sap, so like I ate it up when I was reading it, but like.
The thing for me is why I kind of don't like Sabetta and almost dislike her is because she left. Well, I don't think they were very clear about why Sabetta exactly left. They gave a few reasons that how Sabetta wanted to also be a leader and things like that. But then she never came back. I'm surprised that she never heard that Callo and Galdo got killed.
How would she have heard that though?
She said she
Right.
suspected.
She did hear, but then she never stopped by. I mean, she always kept saying, "Hey, why didn't you come looking for me?" But then she never went looking for him either, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Sabitha does kind of have a romantic streak, right? I mean, like she wanted
Wants to be the
play.
Rose.
Yeah, she wants to be the Rose, and she wanted to be what's her face of the Republic of Thieves. Like that, like like every 16-year-old girl would want to be like that character.
Yeah, I agree. Also, going back to, I guess, the way the romance was set up, I was expecting, and I think we needed more tender / sweet moments between them. Like, the only one we really got between them as children was the chase, and I didn't know what was going on in that chapter. And I only really realized, like, at the very end that, this was supposed to be showing that Sabitha actually cares for Locke. Because it was all caught up in, this weird little plan that Chains had set them on. So I think that we did need more, I guess, maybe positive platonic interactions with them at the beginning. But by the time they meet again, I mean, it's very interesting in that Locke really kind of hopes that he can start up again with her, but what they end up having to do is basically fall back in love. And you can see both of them trying to do that. And I really appreciated that they were both like hurt and wounded and nasty because they're nasty. And I think what's her name is Sabitha is nastier than Locke. Locke has a much softer streak than she does, but
yeah, he does.
But I like that they were making that effort, and the way it was kind of wrecked at the end, I thought was it wasn't the continuation of a childhood relationship. It was these two people who were falling in love and Sabitha realizing that she couldn't be with him for now because of these reasons.
Can you guys explain me exactly what happened towards the end? What the deal with the painting was? Yeah, could you guys explain that to me because I didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
Is that the painting of the original prince and the queen?
Lamora, so then Lamora Canthus was, of course, who Patience is claiming Locke was in like a past life or something, and then his wife was a redhead, and then that just like plays on every one of Sabitha's insecurities about like why Locke is interested in her.
Because
so then she's just like, I can't do this, and she left.
Okay. Because I didn't get
just it. When it was starting to go, just when they were starting to be stable. Because
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Patience, it's tailored to fit.
It's tailored to fit.
Seamstress, yeah.
I was so annoyed with her because I was like, great, like you took revenge for your son, and then we get the epilogue, and it's like, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was time to pick a side and realize that, like, I mean, I'm sorry, like, she's entitled to be sad about this and everything, but like, the Falconer deserved what he got. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Falconer is the devil himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's go back just a little bit. Let's talk about things we particularly liked or maybe disliked about the first two books. So we touched on it a little bit, but do you guys have like favorite parts in the Lies of Locke Lamora?
Oh yeah, a ton of them, right? I mean, the entire childhood
Oh,
thing.
and the Miragios sequence. He when Locke goes into Miragios because the Falconer stole all their money, or the Grey King stole all their money via the Falconer. So Locke just has to like go in there with nothing but his pure talent, and then he literally talks the clothes off of this one guy. So
That was pretty fantastic.
so he can be presentable to appear again as Lucas Fairwhite to the Salvaras, I believe.
Yeah, I really love that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying when he does that because you're like, how is this going to be possible? And like I'm naturally skeptical about these kind of things, but somehow Locke manages to pull it off so well.
Yeah, that's the
No,
thing. In the
it's-
first book, there were so many places where Locke showed such intelligence. I mean, you kind of went through how is he going to pull this off, and the Miragio sequence was best. I mean, he lost all his resources, didn't have makeup, nothing. Half his crew was dead. Gallo and the Sansa brothers were dead by then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
and
they'd lost their money when they found
right.
their corpses, and then they found that they'd been robbed. So.
I mean, the resilience Locke showed there was just amazing, and he kind of does that again during the end of the second book. And that's the thing. Third book, I can't remember any place where he shows something like that.
I don't know. Them getting off the boat and a lot of the other stuff they do is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not quite as just like ridiculously
Yeah,
like back to the wall, but it's still like it's pretty. He's as always, he's pretty good at what he does.
it's probably because we've seen some of those tricks somewhere before. Like, what's the movie Weekend with Bernie's? Weekend at Bernie's.
With the dead boss?
Yeah,
Yeah. Is that the movie name? Weekend at
yeah. Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, the entire thing with Baron Bulldozy was like Weekend at Bernie's, trying to maneuver this cost from one place to another, and the thing where he discovers who the Sabetha spy was by giving three different people three different information. That was so Tyrion. So it just was. We were familiar with all these tricks. That's why it probably did not impress me as much.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
fair.
part of Locke's journey is, I mean, maybe this makes for less entertaining reading, but it is sort of moving away from just using people, and that's a huge step that he takes in the second book. And I mean, for me personally, that was like the most emotionally resonant part in the book when he decides to let Zamira in on his plans,
Mm-hmm.
and start to trust people. Also, the part in that weird, tiny, rich people country that I don't remember the name.
Oh, that was
Salon Corbeau.
phenomenal.
Yeah, that was totally weird. But like, and I don't know, it was like this weird like interlude of social experimentation. But I liked that Locke. I like any time we get to see Locke's moral center that he tries to pretend he doesn't have and tries to convince himself he doesn't have, and then he sees this going on and cannot take it.
Yeah.
and almost throws off his whole plot because of it, and I love that.
Yeah. It's also just it's such an impressive like display of his abilities too. Like the way he like smoothly uses what he's already doing to obliterate them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love the characters so much. I don't really care what's going on.
Actually, that's a good segue. Unless anybody had anything specific to say about books 1 or 2.
I think that sequence when they were testing out their climbing equipment and that guy tries to rob them. I forget the specifics of it, but when I read it, I was just like, oh my god, this is like this. It felt like it was right out of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail or something. Just the level of absurd that scene reached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of event like that in all 3 books, right? Like the first one, it's the escape from the bedroom where they what happens exactly? They like interrupt like an affair or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm not super keen on that because I was like really into the story, and then it was like we have this screaming woman and like this guy, and like they're falling off a like vine off a window, and I was like, what's going on? But it was very funny.
I always like those parts of the story. He has such a nice, like, the world feels so well lived in, but without, like, he's not a big world builder kind of guy, but it still always feels very thoroughly explored. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't touch the Eldrin mystery thing because I want it to be like a mystery about what happened to the Eldrin. But it kind of looks like that's going to be included in the plot soon, right?
I don't think so.
Because that's why the Bond mages have gone now, because they fear that they're waking the entity again or something. So,
That's their
yeah.
theory, though. Like, personally, I don't think that, I think he said this on his blog, which was actually why I was surprised to see as much information, or theory anyway, that we got in Republic of Thieves about the Eldrin. But I don't think he intends to, like, actually give us an answer. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see an Eldrin, you know?
Yeah.
I think he's really like, this happened. Everybody's like, what the hell was this? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird, right? And that's it. That's how it is. Which I really like. I mean, obviously, like, I'm desperate to know, but I also don't want to know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another recent fantasy author who had something similar to the Eldrin.
Well, it's kind of old. They do this in Mass Effect. They do this in like everything pretty much, where an ancient race was gone because of an ancient nemesis that comes back every 50,000 years or so. It feels like the others, right? I
A
mean,
little bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
it does.
I don't know. I like that touch.
I mean, honestly, I imagine Cthulhu rising up and destroying like things, but the others works as well.
I guess Cthulhu is kind of one of the first in that trope.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Would
but
you-
it's interesting in that the Eldrin created this world. Like, it's
Yeah.
not just like, it's not like some Leviathan that's like some ancient being who just happens to be there. They built the world and then they left, and then humans evolved or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, which actually begs the question: are Locke and his companions actually like human? Like, we're human or not? But that's a weird question.
Exactly. I mean,
About it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, we see them. They probably don't even look like human. They look like aliens or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with what happened to Maximilian the Archon in second book? I kind of didn't see him as a villain. I kind of was
Oh,
buying
I saw
his.
this one.
Oh, because I was kind of buying his arguments that, if the civilians had their way, they would do away with the military. So I kind of sympathize with him, trying to keep the power, trying to keep the funding for the military on. And so in the end, when he got his comeuppance, I was like, I don't think he really deserved something that harsh.
No, I think that he's sort of, I don't know, that's the classic argument of all fascists everywhere.
Like, I mean, Grey King was so convincing. He was a black, I mean, he was not a gray character. He was a completely black character. So no doubt about him. But with Maximilian, he felt like a very gray character to me.
I don't think he's gray. I mean, that's what military dictators and fascists do. They say that, like, civilians don't understand how things actually work and they're putting us all in danger and only I know what I'm doing. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I think that a country under the rule of someone like Stragos without any checks and balances on him would be totalitarian and hellish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I
he
mean,
was, right? I mean, he only got his funding from the council, so it wasn't like he was completely free to do anything he wanted.
Right, but his whole plan was to get to the point where he was free to do anything he wanted.
But he was also good to his men, right? Like, he kept insisting Locke not to kill anybody when he
Yeah, but again, like,
prison.
loyalty to the military that supports you is another pretty, like, basic part of being a military dictator.
I mean, I'm certainly not sad he's gone. I mean,
Yeah.
he should have known. Like, he researched Locke, right, and Jean, and he knew that, like, if he tried to fuck with them and if, like, he gave them one chance, they would, like, screw everything up for him.
Really like the scene after he was poisoned. Locke kind of gives the Archon the ultimatum and say, "Hey, give us the antidote, and we'll
Yeah.
walk away. No hard feelings." I really liked it. I was like, I'm reading that. I was thinking, come on, Locke, you can't really pull it off. And
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Well, first of all, I love that anytime Locke and John are in like way over their heads and they're acting like they're in a bargaining position,
Mhm.
I love it. It drives me crazy. It's hilarious. They're like, yeah, we'll let you off super easy, like on their knees, like with guns pointed at their heads.
But he's right. The Archon should have let them go.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think that's the difference. I think what makes villains in these stories are the people who are willing to do stuff that Locke and John are not. Because
Yeah.
our heroes are bad guys, right? They're thieves, but they have a sensitivity, and part of me wonders if this was why the Sanzas were killed off. Because I never liked the Sanzas, and I haven't liked them more in
Oh,
the flashbacks that we've gotten. Like, they're very funny and everything, but they seem like they're still very like objectifying of like Sabbatha and whatever. And
No, she said that they stopped. They like asked her
yeah,
out once, but then that was it. When she said
no,
no, they've
yeah.
never brought it up again.
that's true. You're right.
Unlike Locke.
But like other, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but like I just I
Like,
don't
they're very
sense
sexually
that like
active, but
yeah. Well, I mean that's fine, but like you don't have to talk about it so much. But like I don't know. I feel like they didn't necessarily have that moral safeguard that either Locke and John probably, but I don't know about Locke, had naturally or changed just like unintentionally or intentionally pounded into them. But regardless, I think that the difference is that Locke and John will not kill innocent people. They won't go after them. Whereas like the Great King, like that scene of the Great King, as a kid holding his twin baby sisters after his family has just been brutally slaughtered,
Yeah.
by this horrible mob boss is extremely moving. And if they had planned to assassinate Barsavi, like more power to them. But like, Nazca and all the entire floating grave, and half the city being taken out because this one person did this horrible thing to your family is not like that's a line that Locke and John won't cross.
Right.
They'll do whatever they want to the Falconer, but they don't attack Patience because she's his mother, and I really think that's how you find the villains in the series.
Well, I think the other thing about villains in this series is that, like, it's partially just that the main characters, I don't know, the villains do things that are horrible. Like, Locke and John are thieves and they'll kill people, but, like, this is also a dangerous world, and it's an unfair world in which, like, they steal because it's fun, as they like to say, but also because there are some, like, justifications for what they do. But they're not forces of anarchy and chaos. They're sort of like forces of like retribution, sort of masquerading as chaos. Whereas I think the real villains are always, in some ways, like kind of cartoonishly villainous, but also like very realistic at the same time. I don't know.
All the things that Requin can do, I mean, those are all scary. The thing with the hands and stuff like that. And what he did with the assassin who tried to kill Selendry, by putting half his body in concrete and then in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say Requin's a villain.
no, he's just like
He's
just Reckon. He
Right,
does everything.
Requin
He
was
just
worse to
wants.
me than Maximilian. Maximilian at least had some, yeah.
but see, I don't get that, Vic. Like I think that like Requin's like he's not a great guy, but he does his own
He's
thing.
not going to rock the boat.
Yeah.
It's going well.
But he's also just like I can sympathize with his. I don't know. I can sympathize with whatever it is that he sort of does and believes in. Where Stragos is, he's a fascist. He's a, military dictator in waiting. Like I don't get how you can.
Well, he's no different than Duke Nicovante and stuff like that, right? I mean, or the Countess of Espera. But because this one guy inherited his throne and one guy came up through the ranks to inherit his title, it's little different, right? I mean,
Yeah, they're all bad guys. I don't
yeah,
really
I mean,
like any of them.
I think it's also their dedication to the system. I think you have a good point, Lee, that Locke and John and the Gentleman Bastards are in this bizarre way moral agents in this world, and working against the spectacularly corrupt and evil public public justice, I guess, system that system of wealth, things like that. And so because they're so devoted to that, I mean, I think that was part of how we started to get a sense that what's his name, Boladatsi was a bad guy, right? When he was talking about like the way things were in the world and whatever, right? Like he was sort of very dismissive of servants and things. Am I totally making that up? It's been a
No.
long
Yeah, no,
time.
he was.
Yeah, before we knew he was like evil, which was, I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but it wound up really funny, so whatever. But I think that we're supposed to think that this world is bad. We're not supposed to think that it's good or okay in any kind of sense. So, which is part of why it's complicated about the mages being in charge of Carthage, right? Because they have this very orderly, very just city, and everybody's a zombie, But yes, so that's why I think that we're not meant to judge like Requin. Well, not really Requin, but what's his name, Stragos, because he's continuing to prop up these institutions with the blood of other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think that, provoking the pirates for them to attack and doing things like that, and also how horribly he kept the prisoners, starving them so they would go or willingly cooperate with Locke when he come to rescue them. Sure, that's true, but it depends if. But then the council is a very capitalist, greed, dog eat dog kind of system. So it's not like a pure democracy either. I mean, it's a very
No,
inherited aristocratic system also.
I
Except
wouldn't
it's
say
not militaristic, that's all.
I wouldn't say the council are good guys. It's just that like I would much rather live under a corrupt, like mercantilist city state than an autocratic one-man totalitarian state.
By the way, they make it seem that of all these cities, Kamur is the worst of them all, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think in the second book, they
Yeah.
keep referring to it. When they get to the pirate city, they were like, "Are you sure you want to go? You have to watch your back." And they say, "Oh, we are from Kamur," and step right on ahead.
I
Your
know.
guys will do fine.
Like these hardened people are like, oh, we don't fuck with Komori. Uh-oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, the exceptionalism for Komori is kind of.
I mean, it's silly, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's like it's meant to just kind of illustrate that what it takes to survive in a city like that,
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolute favorite moment in all of the books is the story about the like Komori revenge scheme or whatever. Where it's
Like
just
with Varsavi and his carpet.
No. It's just the long and like rambling story about the sport handball or whatever,
Oh yeah.
and how
Oh
at
my
the
god,
end
I
of,
did not care about that at
no
all.
at the end of that interminable story, like the dude ends up murdering the first
Oh,
guy,
right,
best
yeah.
Oh
friend.
right, yeah.
And whenever anyone else hears this story, they're like, "Oh, those Komori, they're psychotic." And the Komori are like, "That's why you don't wait that long. Like, what's wrong with you?"
I think part of what it is, because obviously the other cities are not that great either. I mean, you have the duel in Tal Varar that basically kicks off the second book, and you have they keep talking about the duelists in Lashane, right? Who like become noblemen and then die in duels 3 days later. So it's not like anybody else is like the paragon of peace. But I think Komori, for everybody else, murder is a business. For Komori, it's a sport.
Yeah.
And like I think that kind of scares off everybody else.
I don't know. I love it. They're just so crazy.
Mhm.
In Talvera, they throw people off into this pits, right? I mean, this Eldrin pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds actually more scarier than getting hanged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sick ways to die in this particular
Which
universe.
city state would you live in if you could pick?
I would say Talvera. It seemed like the best place of them all.
I don't know. The Marrows seem kind of normal, but they're about to get engulfed in a crazy civil war, so I don't know.
Oh, it's
Not
simple.
more.
Kartheen, I think.
Yeah, Carthane before the Bonds Magi
But
leave.
you're an automaton, though. I mean, like
Not
They're
that's
not an
everyone.
automaton.
It's not that bad. You only have to
Yeah.
forget your last name or first name, whichever.
Yeah, you can't tell anyone your first name, but I can do that. Like,
Yeah.
But there were all those times when Locke kept being like, this is really out of character for this particular person. He's clearly being nudged by whatever magic rules are
Oh,
But
true.
in the city. And
but
I mean, but that's,
No, I thought that
that's
was
the
because-
debate, right? That's the classic debate. Is it better to give up a little freedom for a little safety, or is it better to like have all of your faculties about you and have to be in Camor?
But I think part of the reason they were weird is because they were kind of important.
Those people, like not
Yeah.
the rank and file of.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like, because their campaign manager or something was like addicted to like fantasy cocaine or something.
Yeah, it felt like it was only suggestions that were put into these people, and their personalities were not changed. Like the suggestion that you guys can trust Locke and John implicitly was the only thing that was altered in them at that
That's so
point in
fucking
time.
creepy, though. You don't want magi in your head. I mean, we've seen where that goes.
Yeah.
Also, are we kidding ourselves? The magi. I mean, people get names, right? The magi probably know everybody's name in the city.
Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
They can talk with their minds, which I thought was kind of stupid actually, because it was like, if you can talk with your minds, why are you having like a like the whole like group that they had when they had this meeting? It was like, you guys are literally just communicating telepathically. Why did you bother getting together in one room?
That's
What
a
was
good
the point?
point.
Well, it's also like Skype, right? I mean, it's nice and everything, but you want to talk to people in person also.
True.
It's just like staring at your enemy's face and like thinking really hard at them.
God.
Well, anyway.
What was I going to say? I forget.
Wow. What were you going to say?
I don't
Oh
know.
no, it's the Bond Magi.
I know.
Something about Bonds. What city would you live in?
I'd be cool with living in Carthane.
Yeah, I think
Before they left, I'd get the fuck out of there once they left. But like, I mean, I'd be okay if I was like a Komori noble, but
Right.
like,
Yeah.
If you're
Who
noble,
wouldn't
it's all
be
good,
who
right?
wouldn't be cool with that?
No, I
Komori
wouldn't
is
be a
a lot of
Komori
fun,
noble though,
too.
because they're probably batshit crazy too. They probably kill each other all the time.
Yeah.
I'd be a noble and like,
Ispara.
yeah, somewhere like less intense.
Or you know what? I'd be on the crew of that lesbian pirates ship.
Zamira thing?
Yeah.
No,
I don't think
No,
that's
Zamira. No,
Oh,
she's like
right.
this like 60-year-old lesbian whose like first mate is
Oh
like
yeah.
her muse.
I don't
I'd
think
sign
I'd
up for that.
quite as much fun with that as you would, but
The entire pirate group is so PG-13. I mean, come on. Yeah, that kind of pissed me off.
It was
Like,
like tame.
yeah, right? I mean, when they capture ships, right? They say, "Oh, yeah, we don't kill the crew of the ship. We only loot the ship, and they've sent them off their way." And I'm like, "Come on, who does that in real life?"
But I think that's the point. Like that's part of the point of the books, like the people who kill indiscriminately, like especially. I mean, it's one thing to take a different pirate ship and kill everybody.
I thought that was what Zamira personally did, and not what every other pirate
yeah, I don't
did.
think
Yeah.
that's all that common.
I mean, the
And
other
that's-
pirate threw like a glowing ball of death into children into like a crib, basically.
Yeah.
So, like that guy was bad. He was
Yeah,
not
he was
good.
bad news.
Defend him now, Vikram. Go ahead.
Well,
He's
Victorian.
Victorian.
Yeah, Victorian wouldn't do that. Well, actually, let me think. What did Victorian do? Yeah, he kept burning the crew, right? Or drowning them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Did
did
he do
keep lighting
both,
people
right?
on fire.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he put them in like a little dinghy and set it on fire, or was that
Yeah.
with the prostitutes?
That was with the prostitutes.
Yeah, and with the
Pretty
slaves, what he would do is, "Oh, you guys are free now, and you have the honor of rowing in my fleet, the Iron Fleet."
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like Victorian at all.
Different conversation.
Vic, I'm starting to get the feeling that you have like a soft spot for like weird militaristic fascists.
Oh my oh my god, Vikram reads 1984 and it's like, no, Big Brother, he's good.
Sorry, now I feel like I'm being a bully.
Have you guys seen? Have you guys seen or heard of the new Michael Bay show, Black Sail?
No.
I have.
Yeah, I've actually watched 7 episodes of that, and there are some similarities between these two. Like the pirate captain is actually voted into place, and the pirates are not loyal to each other at all.
Mhm.
They completely kill the other ship's crew. So I was like, wait a minute, that's not how pirates work.
I don't know. They are fun.
Do you guys still remember what is starboard and what is
Larboard.
larboard?
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
starboard is right,
Right.
but that's like the same on like actual ships. But then larboard should be port.
You know, I realize now that part of the reason I liked Red Seas and Red Skies so much is that, like, I've read a lot of boat books already. I didn't find that part boring at all.
Really, because like Scott Lynch was like very explicitly said, "Oh yeah, I take creative license with this" in the back after the
I
book.
know he doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's just like,
Wait, so it is wrong mostly because I kind of believed it. I was then memorizing some of the things also.
I mean, like, I don't know that much about boats, but like I've read enough Patrick O'Brien and Horatio Hornblower that I can read a paragraph about boats without processing any of it. But I'm not bored. It's just like,
No, it was very interesting to me. I never read a proper pirate or anything pirate related before, except for Victorian. And he mostly complained about monkeys.
monkeys are the worst. That's true.
Mm.
Oh, what about the Thorn of Emberlane? Oh no, what did you think about the interludes?
The interludes, I thought
Are we still going off the dock?
Well,
vague.
Also,
Yeah.
Katie hates Scott Lynch, so she would never be on this podcast.
oh
She
really?
hates him, really?
Yeah.
I thought you said Scotland, and then I was as confused
Yeah.
as possible to be.
You know,
Why?
I think we talked about this briefly when we were doing a Cora thing this past fall, but
Yeah.
like I don't remember any of what she said.
I think he just annoys her, like the smarminess. She doesn't like that.
That's
I hear.
true. Yeah. I mean, it was there in the first 2 books, but it kind of bothered me more in the third book. When Locke's explaining the plan, right? That everybody's listening to him, everybody's like nobody's putting up resistance, right? Is that what you guys are talking about?
I think.
It's
I'm
like,
not sure.
yeah, when he's going through his plan, it's like he's talking to himself. Look, I know this sounds absurd, but this is this. I mean, it's just the dialogue.
Which
So-
book are we talking about?
Oh, it
Or which-
happens in all the books when he's laying
Oh,
out
yeah.
a plan. It's like everybody stops, nobody resists, everybody listens to him. It's just,
Yeah.
kind of.
'Cause, I mean-
was-
Sorry.
If it's anywhere but like the flashbacks in Republic of Thieves, it makes sense to me because they've been together for like, you know, like most of their lives. They know, like, they have their own like little roles in the relationship. Because like John is competent. He's just like I got the feeling that he's like fine, or he could like run scams on his own if he wanted to. But Locke is just like amazing. And then John has better skills that can be put to use with that. But
Mhm.
They work better.
yeah, they work better
Yeah.
together, or when they have the roles like that. Because I remember in the flashbacks, Sabitha was very like always very like annoyed that people would always unfailingly like gravitate to Locke like that. And once she left, I don't see why any of them had a reason to challenge that or to
Mm.
think about it differently, especially when it worked, when they got really
Yeah.
fucking rich off that. Because like with Sabitha, it was really from like especially like oh man, which is why I like Sabitha, because it's very frustrating to like even like be friends with someone who like you're better than them at something, but they get all the attention and for stuff that like it's not even your fault. Because like with Locke, it's more like it's it's unclear. I liked how it was left unclear how much of it was sexism and how much of it was Locke's just a flashy little shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is fair to say that Locke is probably somewhat more charismatic than Sabitha. And And while I think they come to think very similarly, I don't think Sabitha. I mean, I guess we don't really have a sense of how quickly she could pull off a plot, when they both meet. Whereas Locke was probably born, assuming he was actually born, being able to do that. I think, I don't know, something Sabitha says that, she could be his partner, but she couldn't have him as her barista. That I think is basically the crux of her psychology. I was about to say problem, but not problem. It's just what causes problems in the group. That Locke doesn't see a difference. He doesn't see himself as Jean's boss.
No.
He didn't see himself as the boss of the Sanzas, even though he really is, and that's how Chains set him up. And Sabitha is painfully aware of that, and she just decided she couldn't handle it.
I also think he can't really fathom a world in which he's not
the center of attention.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Like, it's not just that he's like, well, we're friends, and I had a better idea. It's just like a world in which people didn't listen to him is one he can't even. It's so far into his world that it's kind of outside the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, yeah, it kind of. Were you guys surprised during the initiation ceremony into the order of the Crooked Warden that Locke and Sabetha stayed behind to be and volunteered to be priest, but the order picked Locke instead of Sabetha? I mean, it kind of felt odd because Sabetha seemed to be like the all-round character, right? Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, we knew that Locke was already a priest of the Crooked Warden, so I wasn't surprised. I just I don't know, it seemed like Locke just, again, it's like why I like Sabitha a lot, because it's very I don't know, I relate to that, being frustrated when there's just someone just comes in
And Locke's not horrible working with other people, right? I mean, during the Republic
No, he's
of
not.
Thieves thing, they were both rolling off ideas of each other. I mean, if either Locke would come up with the first half of the plan, or Sabetha would complete it and go back and forth. So yeah, one of them didn't have to be a barista of the other. They could have worked together, right?
Yeah, I think the issue is less that that it's not that either of them's at fault. It's just that real people, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, and I mean, if again, there's that fact that Locke just can't understand that, and Sabitha can't not be the boss. I feel like she never got over Locke's arrival in a way. And I don't think that they could have been together if the group had really, if the Gentleman Bastards had continued, because it's a way different dynamic with, the way that they had planned on going off at the end with just Sabitha, Locke, and Jean. That's vastly different than having a new little protege. I think that's why the idea of Bug bothered her so much. Because Locke is just, I mean, I don't criticize Locke for this, because that's just what he was doing, but he's perpetrating the system which basically shoved her out from her perspective. And Locke has no idea. I'm not sure he really gets it, but it becomes less relevant. But I actually have a segue about this, so if anybody wants to add any more thoughts, I just want to move into one other direction slightly. So
this is about the time when Chain dies. Sabetha wanted to have the crew move to a different city and do something else, but Locke and the crew wanted to stay behind, or at least Locke wanted to stay behind and keep doing what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually what I was going to talk about, which is Chains. Chains became vastly more interesting to me in this book after
through the lens of Sabitha.
Through the lens of Sabitha, and also something she says. Well, actually, the first thing. I mean, I always kind of liked Chains ever since he had his whole speech that they're going to be like a bolt through the heart of the secret peace of Camor, and I was like, yes, awesome. But the scene where where they're chasing each other, and then Sabitha rescues Locke from the gold cloak, and then they both get taken, and he kind of rescues them from that. When he stands up and he yells at that guy for threatening his children, I was just like, whoa, this Sabitha is totally on the money. This gang is way more, he wants a family way more than he wants a gang.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just thought, I mean, it's simultaneously beautiful and messed up and sad. But to me, that like just became like permission to think of him in a very different light. But like Sabbatha says, like he kind of messed them up because he wouldn't let them be hardened criminals, but he also wouldn't let them be not hardened criminals.
Yeah. He kind of put them between, like he gave them all the skills they need to live the life of, like they could easily have overthrown Barsavi if they wanted. But the issue is that they couldn't do the things that need to be done to do that. Like, I don't know, it's a hard, like they wouldn't want to be Barsavi, but they also like they don't really have a skill set to do anything else.
And yeah, like Sabbatha makes that point that like they're sort of lacking that ruthlessness.
I do love these books though, and I love the characters, and I just think like, I don't know, there aren't that many book series I've read in the past like couple of years that I'm as excited to keep reading as this one.
Yeah.
Book 3 kind of left me a bitter taste in my mouth. I don't know whether I'm gonna pick up book 4 or not.
Really?
See, the book 4, we'll talk about this later, but I'm like really intrigued about book 4 based off stuff he's said, not like because of like this is gonna happen, but like because that was the book he originally wrote when he like began this story, but then he realized that he had to go back and because like he wasn't invested in what they were doing, so obviously it was utter crap. So he had to like write the first 3 books in order to get to where he wanted to originally begin the story.
It's like because all the mystery is somehow gone, right? We met Sabata now. We have a better understanding of their growing up days. We saw their first con game in Republic of Thieves. So there's nothing left for him to go, to dig from the back now. It's all going to be forward. And bringing back the Falconer, I don't know. I'm like, is this like a comic book where they bring back old villains?
Yeah.
See, I would disagree about that because I think the story is going to change, actually. I think something's going to happen. I mean, I got to interview Scott Lynch at New York Comic Con last year. And
right. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. But he basically said, like, he's playing a very long game with these books. And so I don't think he's repeating anything. I'm not saying he has every single moment planned, but I think that the major beats of whatever con he's playing are planned out in advance. And I mean, you just get the sense with the prophecy that Patience like Dom's unlock, that these books might take a very different turn. I mean, there's talk about Kid, and it's like, what? That's a bad idea.
Yeah. If my theory, and like, I don't know, this is probably wildly off base, is that it's almost sort of like that book and the ones after it are going to be much more heavily serialized in a way. Like these 3 are kind of like, I don't know, I see the next 4 as almost like like these 3 is sort of the beginning trilogy where you like get to know everybody. It's like a big prequel.
Oh no, a Martin style cliffhanger at the end of each book. I hate
No,
that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that like I think that they're just going to be like, this is the prequel. This is what most, like you said that he was thinking about writing the next one first. Well, I think, you know how a lot of authors will start a story, they'll write it, they'll get all this acclaim, and then they'll sort of go back to like help you understand like where it all came from. But I think he sort of started with that, and the next couple books are going to be like the real meat of the story.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're going to continue with the city hopping and all of that. I don't know if it's going to happen necessarily in the Thorn of Emberlane, but I think coming up, probably toward the end of Thorn of Emberlane, something is going to happen that's going to sort of change the paradigm of the series. I agree. I don't think it's going to continue to be like these little episodic, like, oh, we go to this place, then we go to this place, and I think it's going to be different. And Vic, I would say, I mean, obviously we don't know when Thorn of Emberlane is coming out, but I would say, like, give it one more book before you give up, because if you really like the first two, like there, you don't lose anything by reading a book.
Right. I mean, it's probably not going to have Sabbath, and there's not going to be those mushy romance in it. So
I
at
can't
least
believe
that's
how
a
much
bonus.
You're so funny like that, Vic. You so strongly dislike anything. Like, I don't know. I don't mind the romance. I enjoy the two of them. It's a very realistic pairing.
But who really needs to come back is Zamira.
Yeah.
We need more Zamira.
But also,
I liked when they
said
referenced, like,
expected
when they were on the boat, they were like, any chance we'll see Zamira again? Or we'll run into Zamira right now?
I love the cat.
Yes.
Oh boy, the entire deal with the cat. I should have sent cats to get landlubbers and not landlubbers to get cats.
The books are also, they're expected in November. So
What?
Oh,
Are-
that's quick.
that's what Wikipedia says.
Oh, well, it's Wikipedia.
I'll go to the link.
I mean, I do know that they said that, like, Anne Roll said that he was definitely on much more of a roll. That rhymes. But, yeah, I mean, I certainly I don't want to wait another 6 years.
So on some blog by some guy,
By some author.
no, in a Lynch interview with Fantastical Imaginations, he said it ought to be out in the fall of 2014. He said this December 11th, 2013. So
That's not so bad.
no, not bad at all.
Very cool. So, do you guys want to talk more about characters, or do you want to just go on to theories for Thorn of Emberlane that we haven't already?
Why don't we save the rest of the character chat for the traditional
Oh,
VO
yes, okay.
after show bit?
One Night
Did we
Marriott,
already go over-
Devilfish.
Yeah.
Oh, did we already go over high points, low points?
Yeah, I think we sort
think
of
so.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
unless
right.
anybody has anything else they want to say about that.
I mean,
There's only the heist we liked most, but I can't think of any. I mean, yeah, because it's not heist, right? They mostly do con games than heists. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I more meant heist, just like individual, like the plots that animate each particular story.
Well, for me, the high points were the stuff on the boat. I thought was the stuff on the ship was fun.
mhm.
The way they pulled off the bit with whatever his name was, the bank. We already talked about that in the first book.
Yeah.
Any Jean fight sequence,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I don't know. Maybe I liked a lot of the campaigning stuff. Honestly, I thought that was fun.
Honestly, I thought, like, I was thinking to myself, did Scott Lynch just, like, turn on the news and say, this is going to be the third book during a U.S. election?
Yeah, it's very like, I don't know if you ever read about like machine politics in like the early 20th century or something.
Yeah,
but
I did.
It was pretty interesting like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you guys?
Um.
I'm a big fan of the past storyline. Anytime they're kids, I like that.
Yeah, that's a great part.
Yeah,
Well,
and like I
yeah,
said, I just love the contrast between what it is now and what it was before, and the similarities too.
For me, the biggest or the best story from the childhood is how Locke got back at the bullies. You know how we just thought was just gonna hide money and have them get beating instead having them killed. I mean, I thought that was the most impressive a story from childhood.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, he should be dead like a million times over.
Yeah, I think, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's a low point, but, like, at the same time, I mean, I will give Scott Lynch credit that, like, I was, like, seriously wondering if he was going to kill Locke off when he was poisoned in Republic of Thieves. I mean, I knew intellectually that, like, that wouldn't be the case because there were, like, 500 pages of book left, but
He does leave it to the last hour, though.
yeah.
That's one of the low points for me. It's like a Deus Machina thing. Just when about everything was gonna die. I know it was engineered to be like that.
Yeah.
I know that Bond majors were intentionally doing that to show up at the last minute. So I can't forgive him that. But it just felt, here's Locke about it. Oh, no worries. Bond major's here to save you.
Wait, really? I like that because I thought it was so like it was obvious that like I don't know. We all knew he wouldn't die. We all knew.
Yeah.
And I like that instead of like pretending to like.
But
know,
they
I
did
thought
not
there was-
did not escape it with their own wits, right? Somebody
Exactly.
helped them out.
I thought, well, because that's the point. I thought that there was no way to escape that with their own wits, and then if he'd like strung something together where they like luckily managed to like catch someone or whatever, or they had an old like it would have bothered me more almost
Mm-hmm.
then, because the thing about the bond mages is that they are clearly going to be very important to the end of the story, and their absurd power and evilness or whatever is one of the key sort of themes, and is something that I think we all think probably that Locke and Jean are going to end up sort of matching wits with them again.
You think so? You think we'll see the bond mages again? I mean, not just the
Oh,
Falconer, but the
absolutely.
other
Oh,
crew
yeah.
again?
Absolutely.
Because they
That's what
kind
I
of
think the
say
next
they're going into
books are gonna be
hiding, right? I mean, so I don't think they want to be found anymore.
Yeah,
But
but
we'll
I
see
don't.
Falconer, of
That makes
course.
them way more interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
next 4 books are going to be there. I don't know. I think that Locke and Jean are going to end up sort of fighting with them a great deal more. I think that's going to be the uniting sort of focus of the rest of the series. But I liked that he just sort of went, you know what, like we're full Deus Ex. He didn't try to pretend it wasn't just a plot fix. He just went with it, and I liked that. And it wasn't like it wasn't already established in the stories that they were basically all powerful.
Yeah, I mean, in the sequence of patients drawing the poison out of Locke was really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was incredibly
Incredible,
intense, and
Yeah, it was.
he's really good at like writing these weird arcane things and not explaining them. Like, like the candelabra or whatever, it is him but not him. It is him but not him, and like that means something, but you don't know what. And it's like it's creepy because of that. And Locke's whole thing with Bug is terrifying, and
oh yeah.
sad and awful. I believe it personally, but I don't know if we're supposed to.
Yeah.
So do you think that that's his imagination, that there is no afterlife? Because that's what he thinks, right? I mean, there's going to be an afterlife. The Crooked Warden's going to take care of us. We're not doing anything wrong. Morally, stealing is fine. But then this vision of Bug tells him that, nope, there's nothing like that. You're going to suffer eternally. So do you guys think that's true, or just a very sick mind, exhausted and fatigued?
Well, I mean, I always lean towards it being hallucination, but that's more because of my own personal views than anything else.
I don't know. I part of me just wants it to be true because it's so creepy and weird, and unique. Like sins written on your eyes. Like that's a awesome image. Horrible though it is. But I don't know. I don't think we're gonna find these things out definitively. I do think also, going back to what we were saying about the books changing, I think that magic will become a much stronger element in the story. I think that, I don't know whether it will specifically be Bond's magi, but I think that things are going to start getting weirder.
Yeah.
Hi, kitty.
Oh, my cat is here too.
Sorry, my cat. Good luck.
Yeah. I also like the entire steampunk nature of the world. Kind of feels like it's modern time. It's just evolved differently. Like they had alchemy for some reason. So they did
that's
not
magic
have
of
to look at,
itself.
they didn't have to look at electronics and stuff like that because they had minor magic instead.
Yeah. So do you guys want to talk about Patience's prophecy?
Oh yeah, that felt
Sure.
so.
What is it exactly? Sorry, I don't.
I'm trying to
I actually have it highlighted, so give me a second.
There you go.
Oh, here, I have it right here. Thank you, Goodreads. I shall give you a little prophecy, Locke Lamora, as best I have seen it. 3 things you must take up, and 3 things you must lose before you die. A key, a crown, a child. Patience pushed her hood up over her head. You will die when a silver rain falls. So cool!
It is really cool.
Oh, and
It's
she
probably
also
bullshit, but it's so
and
cool.
she also says you need to go north to go south, you need to go west to go
Yeah.
east.
It does sound like that. It really does.
To touch or to pass into the light, you must whatever.
Go in the dark.
Whatever. Point being, I have an aversion to prophecies, so I'm just like, like a lot of what she told Locke about like being about Lamar Canthus seems pretty much correct. But I'm just like, prophecy.
But the cool thing about this is that she prefaces this, or ends it, I don't remember, by saying basically, hey, Locke, here's a prophecy. You have no idea whether I'm fucking with you or not.
Yeah,
And,
I did like that a lot.
Yeah, and obviously, like, Locke is not the type to get overwhelmed by this. Like, he shrugs it off almost right away. But I think that is there for us and for him. I mean, I think the child is definitely the most interesting
Yeah, I do.
element of that.
Do you guys think this, or some of these things, right? The key, the crown, and the child. Some of this could have already happened in the past. Because when with the word key, I'm thinking, is there something to do with key in the first book and the second book? Uh, did some of these events already happen already?
I don't think so.
So these are future events then.
Yeah, I think primarily.
I guess.
I mean, the funny question is, we could drive ourselves crazy, you know. Scott Lynch, he predicated this by saying, "I have no responsibility as an author to fulfill this prophecy."
He's
So,
going the Martin route.
right, exactly. Well, no, actually, in Martin, we're pretty sure that they will be fulfilled. We just don't know how. But
Yeah.
in this, it's like it could be fulfilled, it could not be. So he's messing with us just as much as he's messing with Locke,
Yeah.
which is kind of
Yeah.
hilarious.
I tend to think he will actually live through the series despite the prophecy, even if the rest of it comes true.
Yeah, it
Maybe
doesn't have to be the end. Like, we don't have to see the ultimate fulfillment of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
I think I
so
know what the Silver Rain is. It's probably Dream Steel, right?
it sounds like it, but it could just be rain, you know,
Yeah.
or it could
No,
be.
it's. Hold on, I have a good joke. It's Purple Rain.
Silvery purple, like the hair of a Targaryen.
Oh, Prince is gonna kill him. That's it.
But like the interesting thing is that, like, I forget what I was just gonna say. Like, I mean, I was also thinking maybe it's like a rain of coins or something, you know.
That could be it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that there's not like an infinite number of ways you can interpret this, but it's like it's interesting enough to I like it. Like, it's sparse enough to not drive you insane, but it's interesting enough to still be like interesting.
Mhm.
And okay, so a key, I have no idea.
No idea at all.
Yeah.
A crown, I kind of wonder, because they're going to Emberlane, right? And Emberlane is in
Seven Morrows, yeah.
right, the Seven Moros are in, or are about to be in a major civil war. So I kind of wonder if, like, maybe Lucas Fairway will come back and somehow Locke will be, like, in a position to take over the Kingdom of the Marrows. I don't know.
I think it's more likely that he ends up like. I see him as more like king of something less real. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Like, you know how he's the Thorn of Camorra? Well, maybe he'll be like, I don't know, the king of whatever.
That'd be interesting.
Sorry,
I
this is
mean,
a very
he
way
does have northern features or something, they say, right? While rest of the Camorri are olive skinned, very Italian looking people. Locke has a very pale complexion compared to them, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the sense that he's the type of guy who's like pale among really like among slightly darker people and dark among much more pale people. He's like that. But makeup does wonders, so.
I just hope that whoever like Locke's like parents were, there weren't royalty. Like, I think this is like that's like the worst thing that could go, and I'm pretty much gonna be happy if it's not that, or if he doesn't
me
become
too.
King of the Marrows.
I don't think there's any risk of that.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I was like expecting the absolute worst with Sabbatha too, but like still, like, and I was very pleasantly surprised. But yeah, I mean, like, as long as it's not like that, I'm happy.
them
Yeah, I
going
mean, whether or not Locke ends up becoming some kind of royalty, which is easy enough to do in this world, really.
Oh wait, is
yeah,
it
go
a
ahead.
crown because he played that Prince Orin?
Oh.
No, I agree that it seems a lot more like the prophecy seems more future oriented, but there is a crown that he has interacted with, kind of.
That's true. I mean, it's what was I just gonna say? I don't think there's any likelihood of Locke being secret royalty.
Oh no.
I mean, yeah, because whether or not his body is biological, I don't even know how you would say it. If his spirit actually belongs to his body, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty clear that body was born to normal, poor, honest, hardworking people in the slums of Camorra. Yeah.
I was also gonna say, so that's where Sabetha was, right, in Emberlin, and she was deceiving some rich nobles there. So Sabetha would never go back to Emberlin, so he's traveling in the opposite direction to her.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
he said that at the end of the third book, he wouldn't like chase after her or anything
Oh, that's
because
right, yeah.
like she needs to sort out her own issues, and if she wants to like come and seek him out, she is very welcome to do so. But like considering that like she left because of like all her own insecurities, and that if he tried to even like say anything or like like track her down to like even try to set the record straight, I mean, I don't think that he really could if he tried, but like
Oh,
Yeah.
now I remember that was the reason, I mean, yeah, him not
mhm.
going after her.
Oh, that was the
That was the
reason.
that was the reward for me. Oh, thank you so much.
Well, I like that too.
Oh, I thought you meant when you said he doesn't go after her, that he doesn't like he didn't seek her out between the time that she left them in Camor and by the time of like the lies of Lac Lamora.
That he's not gonna go after her in the next book.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant.
I did like that in terms of character development. Even though it made me sad because shipping and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of character development, I mean, the interesting thing which is also very unusual about Locke as a villain, quote unquote, character, he has no intention of ever finding anyone else in his life to love. He's like, Sabbath is it. That's it. That's the end. I think we seem to have gotten that sense. I mean, you never know, but especially with the child connotation.
Yeah.
Well,
Who would have thought
unless
John was
Sabbath is
the
like pregnant now, but I don't know.
Please no.
who would have
Yeah.
thought John was the player in the group? I mean, he gets laid in every
Yeah.
book except for the first one.
Yeah. I
This is
just
true.
one of my favorite parts about Locke and Sabbatha is just that, and I'm not much of a shipper, but I like that he, I don't know, it's just like I can very much, maybe it's just that I can very much empathize with someone who like he has very strong feelings for her, but also like in a lot of ways like the problems between them are, they're not like, I don't know, in a lot of fantasy books the problems between between two people who are trying to be together are very much like environmental, like there's someone opposed to it or something doesn't work or like there's some kind of misconception. But I like that the problems with Locke and Sabbatha are that they're just issues they have to work over, that they're not like most people, it's not necessarily a perfect fit.
Yeah,
And
my last boyfriend was totally the reincarnation of a spirit who had a fixation on red-haired women. Totally. No, but I know what you mean, though, Lee.
yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to totally diffuse
No.
you.
I don't mind.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in general, female characters are presented pretty well in the series. I mean, I think that the second book, and I'm sorry to say this, Stephanie, because I know you love Ezri and Zamira, but like they are sort of men with boobs, somewhat to a certain extent.
Like, I mean,
Maybe not.
I
I mean,
see why you think that, but only under the assumption that piracy is an inherently male activity.
no, it's not
like
even really the pirate thing. It's more like the bravado a little bit that they have.
why the hell can I not have sexy, awesome ladies
You
with
can!
lots of bravado and
You
our
totally
pirate
can!
queens and
You totally can. I don't mean to like say this definitively, like, oh, they're not good characters because of this. Zamira has grown on me actually the more I think about her. Ezri I like, but she's dead, so it doesn't really matter. Thanks, hot. That was great.
And
I mean,
you know what? So if you're like wanting to like say, oh, like, well, I mean, like Zamira like really like looks after her. I mean, like,
No,
like,
I love the fact
they
that
have, like-
Zamira's a mother.
yeah, and like yeah, like it's not like they don't have like traditionally feminine qualities.
This is true. I mean, okay, something that Scott Lynch wrote on his blog once made a big impact on me, but I still sort of struggle at which points I want to apply it and which not. What he said was like somebody wrote to him like criticizing how unrealistic Zamira.
Oh, was it about Zamira's existence and like that?
Yeah, and he was like, that's what you're picking up on as being unrealistic in this book series, basically. Awesome point, and it's actually changed a lot of the ways that I look at a lot of fiction, and gender issues and things like that. I'm still not sure of the practicality and wisdom of raising two very small children on a pirate ship, though.
Fair.
Like,
I mean, she did say that
it's-
it has its own unique struggles.
yes, but I mean, like, there are people having sex all over the place. They go into battle frequently. I mean, their ship could be taken. It could actually be taken. And, like, yes, I know that there are dangers of living on land also, but, like, there are safer places to live and more dangerous places to live. And a pirate ship is a dangerous place to live. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like,
Yeah,
oh, that was
and-
terrible. I found it
But
very interesting, but I kind of still think it's a bad idea.
I don't think it's that unrealistic, though. There are plenty of people who do kind of extreme things because they don't want their kids, like, indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, if she lived in the modern day, she'd probably homeschool her kids or something
Yeah.
on a boat.
Because she can.
Yeah, why
Pirate
not?
school.
And Zamira's not doing it because she does do it because she does be a pirate because she thinks it's fun, but also she was in the Navy and she just got disillusioned because I believe she got disillusioned about being sent to war. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Of the two of them, I think Ezri is slightly less realistic because Ezri is sort of what people want Sansa to be. In that, the girl who was raised, or I guess the Arya, but I don't know. I don't think Arya ever would have run away from her family. But I mean, the girl who's so restricted by her life and whatever that she runs away and becomes the perfect pirate. She's so good at being a pirate naturally. I don't know. Again, I like her and she's funny and I enjoy reading her, and having that being unrealistic is far from the worst. It's definitely not a major problem. It's just when I think about her character, it's something that I factor, you know? I hope I qualified that enough to
Well, I mean, I'll respectfully disagree,
That's
but
cool.
I mean, we can leave it at that.
Yeah. No,
I
I
mean,
mean,
the other female characters were pretty plausible. Like in the first book, Donna or Sophia Salvara, I mean, she seemed pretty interesting character.
yeah, I love her.
And
She's
then
great.
Patience, of
Scientist.
course. And then Spider,
And-
of course, yeah.
And I loved how Sabitha was like, I knew it, when Locke was like, oh yeah, the spider's a woman.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, let's just touch on this briefly since we did talk about it in our first unfortunate recording. Potential adaptations of the Gentleman Bastard sequence. What do you guys think? Yes, no,
As
maybe?
a anime fan, I would like to see an anime.
Why does everybody want anime about everything?
I'd like
I
to see
don't
an
want-
animated series, not an anime. I don't want to see Bishy Jean.
But you guys don't want to see a Legend of Lamora
No.
No.
with the Sky Bison and everything?
I mean, I don't want to, or worse yet, the Bishy, the Falconer. No, thank you.
I don't know what that word means.
Pretty boy.
Oh, okay.
With lots of sparkles and silver hair and
And his tongue
all
cut
the-
out.
and all the teenage girls will stand for him because he's just troubled on the inside, especially after the events of book 3 would be covered. There was that fan animated trailer though, or the
Yeah.
credits. That was really cool.
Yeah, have you seen that, Vikram?
I mean, I would prefer
I see the Vimeo thing, right?
Yeah, you should check it out. It's beautifully done.
yes, I would love it. I don't think I would want to see a live action version just because I think they'd run into the issue of Game of Thrones.
Guys, Game
Yeah,
of Thrones is a
yeah.
good adaptation. I hate to break this to you.
But it's so rare, right? Very rarely are adaptations that well done.
Yeah, but I just think it would be so cool, like a fantasy mystery series, with
It
all
would
the,
be.
I mean, I feel like they could.
If you did it live action, I wouldn't really see I guess I would think people wouldn't really some producer would be like, well, I don't see the point of doing this as fantasy. Why don't we just do it as modern day?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
This would be a huge budget and animation is expensive, but they wouldn't have the practical limitations that a live action
I
production
don't know.
would.
You shoot in Venice, and I think it could be so cool. And this is by the way something I'm still hoping for. I was very much hoping that the success of Game of Thrones would lead to more fantasy becoming more mainstream on TV. And so far it really hasn't. And I feel like this is such a great successor to that, but I don't know.
I strongly agree with Meatball.
Yay!
I don't know where I dropped out, but I was saying I think this would be so much better as a real TV show than an animated show.
I mean, I think you can do realistic style, or not realistic styles, but you don't have to do like a anime or Legend of Korra style animation.
That's true.
I can easily picture this as, the story of this thing, but with Assassin's Creed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, replace Assassin's Creed with Locke, and yeah.
Oh my god.
Here, wait, I forgot. I lost the charger thing. I'll be right back. But before I go, I was just going to say, I think it would be better as a real TV show because even if you did a realistic animation, it's just so sort of like, I don't know. Maybe it's just I can't picture it. I can't visualize it as an animated show. Whereas I can so easily see it even as a really low budget TV show. I think.
Okay, I would love it to be a low budget, really campy B show. I just don't. I don't know. I'm just.
Oh no, that would spoil it. I mean, there are very few things.
Hardcore,
like,
take it seriously.
You mean Doctor Who level productions, right? I mean, it works for Doctor Who, but they don't take themselves that seriously. And but this is sometimes serious.
I'm actually visualizing like the Pompeii episode of New Who, and like I feel like that would be perfect. Just kind of like wridiculous and a little low budget, but really fun.
Am I the only non-Whovian
I mean, okay, like I think I'd be fine. I mean, part of this is like, I can just see this turning into another like,
do not say Game of Thrones.
more like excuse to.
I'm worried we'll probably end up like a sci-fi show, those ton of those sci-fi shows like sci-fi shows like Sanctuary, Revolution, Intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I can think of it a lot of crap TV shows.
That and like, I think there'd be a much. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, it would remind me of Game of Thrones if it was like really high budget and live action. And then when I think of like Game of Thrones right now, I mean, like, I'm just like the really ridiculous levels of not equal opportunity nudity. So.
Well, that's what's interesting about these books. I mean, like, and I wonder if that's part of the reason it hasn't been picked up, because like as foul as they are, and as violent as they are, there's not a ton of sex.
Yeah.
And there's actually almost no explicit sex.
Locke and Sabbatha did it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, but it wasn't Martin level, detail. We didn't know what went where at what point. It was much more along the lines of like Fade to Black.
The rights are owned by someone.
Yeah.
Like they have sort of been picked up.
Wait, why haven't we talked about?
I don't want them to make a movie.
Yeah, what's wrong with the movie?
It's too short.
Warner Brothers owns the film rights.
But I think this can be made into a movie because the number of twists and turns are few, not like Game of Thrones, and the characters are very few in it, so it will fit perfectly in a 2-hour story.
There's like 6 twists and turns. Yeah. I mean, like in a 10-episode season.
Like the first story, I'm thinking it's all going to be, the first half is going to be the Dawn Salra thing, then the second will be the Grey King, and then the third act will be the thing with the Duke of Penance Day, the garden party, the Penance Day party. Is it the Penance Day party? No, it's.
But like in a movie,
it's like a garden party at the top of a tower.
Right. That's a nice 3 acts. You got it there.
But like in a movie, there's no time for like the Miraggio scene.
Yeah.
And also the backstory might have to be cut out.
Right, exactly. Okay. Whereas in a TV show, you could do such a beautiful intertwining. You could do what Game of Thrones doesn't, which is not forget the past stuff. And I talk about this very ardently, even though I have zero power. But I just see it so well. I mean, I think it seems to me like the perfect, cheaper successor to Game of Thrones.
very few production, I mean, those kind of shows that do well. I mean, when you say Game of Thrones style, all I can think of is like Camelot, Musketeers, White Queen, and all of
Yeah,
them
but those are
are.
all British.
I just
Well,
want this to be the Stars version or the Showtime version of Game of Thrones.
oh, like
Mhm.
Oh,
Spartacus
so
or
like Pillars
something.
of the Earth.
Yeah, like kind of purposefully a little cheesy.
See, I don't see it as necessarily cheesy because I don't think like there can be an air of camp to it, but like I think the set level and stuff is so much easier than Game of Thrones, you know. I mean, unless they completely changed it like they did with King's Landing in Game of Thrones, but I don't know. I guess we've kind of exhausted this topic, but anyway,
Yeah.
I want them
It's
to
a
do
fun
it.
topic.
So I
too.
count 1 anime and 3 TV shows.
Yeah. Wait, no, and you want a
Well,
movie,
how many
right?
animated TV shows, not anime?
I'm thinking proper Japanese anime, Funimation.
It would be nice to have
Oh,
an interesting
Funimation.
like.
That's some.
On
Wait, never
Nickelodeon.
mind. No, I don't want Vic Mignogna voicing Locke.
It would be really cool to have well, kind of cool. I still want live action, but it would be interesting to see like an American animation take on this. Obviously nothing against the masters in Korea and everything, but like something that wasn't fucking Family Guy, that
Yeah.
Oh man, South Park style.
I'm not a fan of Family Guy. I'm just
Oh man, South Park Gentleman Bastards.
The Simpsons Gentlemen Bastards.
Stop it.
I would watch that.
At least it won't
Okay.
be American Dad and what's the other crappy show?
Cleveland Show.
Cleveland, oh boy, or Archer.
Oh, I watch Archer.
Is
I
Archer
would love
good?
if it was like Archer.
It's okay. So if you've been raised on James Bond stuff,
Yep.
it's hilarious.
Archer's. I love
It's
the
like-
whole Archer Vice season too.
Yeah, it's like James Bond meets Arrested Development.
Yeah. I think it would be a great show if it was animated in the Archer style. I take it back.
Yes.
Fun.
I mean, Archer can they cut corners with a lot of cheap 3D, but I mean, if that means but I do like the Archer style. It's very appropriate for what they do.
Yeah. All right, now let's move on to the next thing.
Because the animation in did you see the Danger Zone short?
Yeah, I love
That was amazing. Yes.
It's such a fun style.
Hmm.
I think we left out claymation. That
You're
would be
right.
good.
Claymation.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
Gumby, Gentlemen Bastards.
Then there's Muppet, Gentlemen Bastards.
We should send Scott Lynch a pitch. Muppet Gentleman Bastard.
Hey, you should send him a copy of our episode. Maybe he'll listen.
Yeah.
That would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, I don't know
use
that it's an
alchemical-
actual baby. No,
I don't use alchemical that much.
he's actually very interesting about critique of his work. He's kind of engaged in that in an interesting way.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading that stuff you linked that he's written. He's very realistic, and his writing has improved a lot since the first one.
Yeah, and something that I thought was actually really interesting was that he made a list on his blog of reviews of the book of Republic of Thieves when it came out, and he gave little summaries, and he was like, Pat's Fantasy Hot List thought it was horrible. Next one, and things like that. Totally just open with it, and I was like, that's cool. I respect. You know what? I really respect Scott Lynch because he is, unlike certain other authors, okay with fans interacting with the books and the way that the fans interact with the books.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea what you mean by that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you would know. I'm so vague.
Yeah.
Martin.
Mhm.
So, fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, let's do it.
What are we doing for this one?
Mm,
One night.
Marry and eat by devilfish, get thrown in
Okay.
a pit. There are so many options.
Maybe one
sharks.
is have to swindle, sleep with and swindle.
oh, I like that. Instead of one night, it's con.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sex con.
Yeah, sex con.
Sexycon, yeah.
Okay. So it's sex con, marry, and get dropped into the shark pit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, wait. You know what? You know what another highlight is? The fact that the sharks in Kimura are only so violent because they keep getting fed dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was maybe my favorite moment in any of the books.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They found out that they had a good thing going on in this particular area.
Wait, the shark gets no, the prisoners get thrown into devilfish thing, but the sharks have to fight the female gladiators, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are those girls called?
I forget, but they perform at like the Shifting Revel or something.
Yeah, I love saying those words. Those like Italian sounding words. That something
Yeah.
something Eastas.
Oh, it's such a cool idea, right? An arena that just spouts up for one day and goes away.
It's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I would love to live in Kamar. Well, maybe
Nice place to
sightsee.
visit.
Oh, yeah, just visit.
Wouldn't want to swim there. All right, let's start with the man himself, Locke.
I'm kind of a feeling he might be annoying in real life. Yeah, he is annoying. He's depressing. He's talking
He'd be
about killing
impossible to
himself.
seduce.
Who?
Impossible to
Sorry, what?
seduce.
My brain turned off. We're starting with Locke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Locke.
But would you want to sexy con him?
No, I would want to marry him.
Me too.
Hey, my cat followed me. No, I also just love Locke because, like, I don't know, I cannot help but love a character who succeeds in like a sort of brutal world like that entirely on like being a fast talker for reasons that have nothing to do with personal reasons.
True.
So he is the greatest.
Yeah, this list is definitely slanted toward me. Okay, yeah, so I would marry Locke.
Yeah.
Because, you know what, if you need to seduce him, you can, maybe. And if not, whatever. He's fun to be around. And
Sharks.
He probably wouldn't care if he found somebody else, right? So you're
Yeah.
gonna shark him? Good luck.
Yeah.
You're gonna shark Locke?
Well, I mean, like, he'd be impossible to seduce because he's always, like, just, like, locked on to Sabbatha. So, like, I have needs, okay?
Fair enough.
But he'd be the most awesome best friend ever, right? Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
he
Locke,
would.
I happened to kill somebody. Can you help me get rid of the body
Yeah,
and
I
come
mean,
up
like,
with
if we
a
were, like,
convincing story?
if we were married and we had someone, or, and, like, I was like, yeah, this is how it goes, like...
But what if he loved
Yeah.
you?
You know, it seems like a lot of the time, Locke, like, especially when he's a teenager, is kind of the asshole that, like, is just kind of annoying and gets, he gets a lot more credit than, or he gets, like, a little too much credit than he deserves. So, I mean, I just don't like people that, it's very hard for me to be friends with people like that, even if,
Fair enough.
like, especially if it's like when I'm doing a lot of legitimate work that I feel I'm being looked over for. Yeah.
So you're saying you're Sabbatha.
Yep.
That was the smoothest agreement ever. Yes, I could see him being annoying, but I'm still gonna say marry. Because I
Yeah.
would have no chance at screwing him over anyway, so at conning him, so.
True.
All right, Jean Tannen, marry, mine.
Oh, yeah, definitely marry.
Yeah.
Also marry.
Jean is the best. Jean would probably be the best husband and the best father and the best everything. He would be the best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's so good. I love him.
The only problem is if you're sick and you're in there longer for a week, he's gonna box you up and ask you to climb out a window and stuff like that.
True.
Locke was suffering from depression, okay?
He's a good friend though. I'd
He's a
rather like be
great
friends
friend.
with him.
Mhm.
I mean, it's interesting. The one time I really didn't like Sabbatha in the book, and there were a couple of times when I wasn't super keen on her, but when I really didn't like her was when she had that line about Jean, kind of just like following Locke like blindly or something, and then Locke called her on it, but I didn't really think that she like apologized enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because like, not to be like, oh, Locke and John's friendship is this magical, wonderful thing, but like they've proven it with blood multiple times, and like, yeah, not cool. Don't go there.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, I was like thinking that, like, you know, it was like it's obvious to the reader that they're so close, but like I was, when they're captured by Zamira, and Locke is in Zamira's cabin, like conversing with her. She's trying to like figure out who he is. Like, I was like and they were talking about Jean and how Locke made it seem, or was talking that Jean, saying that Jean's important to him stuff. I was like seriously like thinking that like Ezri and Zamir are like, oh, you two are gay for each other. But for some reason it just didn't go there.
I could ship that, but they clearly don't, so.
Yeah. No, I just like, it seemed like, yeah, my
Yeah, no, there
shipping
was
goggles
kind
are
of
screwed on tight, so.
Yeah, like the mutiny crew, right? They tested, right? They like first they were going to throw Locke out, but then they also throw Jean out, and they say, oh yeah, these things work in pairs anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
I mean, they're sailors.
Yeah.
right. And there are gay people on the ship. We know that.
Yes.
Yeah, they describe that. However PG it is, Vikram.
The thing I couldn't connect with Sabatha is because I couldn't picture any proper face with her. Who do you guys picture when you think of Sabatha?
I don't have a visual, like, I don't
I don't-
think in images for some reason. I'm very, very, like, verbal. So, like, I don't have an image of her in my head.
Yeah.
I don't think of anyone famous, if that's what you mean.
I think the strongest image I have of her is that for a long time, the original cover of the book was a girl, a red-haired girl on a roof, like holding a mask. And like you don't see her face, or at least not most of it, but that was definitely kind of how I imagine her. Here.
I picture the actress from Percy Jackson thing, Alexandra
Daddario.
Dario.
Yeah,
She does sometimes, but in some scenes it doesn't work for me.
And she's a smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's very
you
hot.
can easily see red hair on her. She in Percy's action, she was kind of like a warrior kind of person, or if you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find someone who edited her hair to be red.
She's a redhead in the first Percy Jackson, which made no
Oh.
sense.
I really liked those books, but I never saw the movies. Oh, here's a picture of her.
Oh, I wanna talk about that actually. I wanna talk about
Yep.
Percy.
She's definitely sort of how my brain now pictures Sabatha.
Maybe.
Right? So I'm
halfway,
not wrong there.
kind of.
In other news, I have a new celebrity crush.
She's very.
Yeah.
Have you
She's very
seen
beautiful.
Have you seen True Detective yet?
Yeah. Oh,
No.
that's her. I recognize her. I definitely have a new celebrity crush on her. She is so attractive.
But
Well-
we're not at Sabbath yet. So something I did want to comment about Locke and John, and I just kind of realized this now because I was like, I love their friendship, and I love that they're just friends, and like it's so true. And I'm like, yeah, but there are a lot of male friendships like in fiction, and then I realized like they don't like. They're not wingmen or anything. They're not like, oh, I'll help you get this girl. Oh, I'll help you get that girl. Like
Yeah.
that's not in their relationship. They're just friends because they're friends and they value
Mhm.
each other, and that's cool.
And then actually, Jean actually sleeps with Erzi the night when Locke and Jean had a fight. So it was kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. You just summed it up much better than I could say it.
Cool.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah.
As always.
They're not gross, and I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Father James.
We have a secret father option, right? That we can only use once every 10 podcasts.
Oh, to be your dad?
Yeah. If
Okay.
not, let's make a rule of that we can have
Yeah.
a father option that we can use once every 10 video case.
Does that make it like an Electra complex? No. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
No, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I kind of dig Father Chains.
Mm.
He's a softie inside.
Yeah.
He is. That's canon.
And he looks like Christopher Lee.
What?
Maybe 45 years ago.
I just pictured him looking kind of like Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
See, I
wait,
see him as
what?
like more of a not like Liam Neeson, but more of a Liam Neeson type because he's so big. I imagine him.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he must have died in a really sad way. Oh, that's what I meant to say. Vikram, we still don't know how Chains died. That's the important thing we need to know from the past now.
Oh, right, right. But it's kind of felt like he died of old age or something. Nothing spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that was still. I felt like this book was somewhat leading up to it in the past. And I feel like that is going to be a huge emotional center for them because that's when Locke, right, like when he takes on the priesthood, that's when yeah,
Mhm.
all those emotional changes happen. Also them recruiting Bug, we need to see that too.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Did they
Um,
tell us if they bought Bug from the Thief Maker also?
I don't think Locke would do business with a thief maker, do you?
I
Yeah,
mean,
right?
I think since he's been there, he'd understand what that would mean for a Bug.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, at the same time, I can't exactly see Locke really ever wanting to associate himself with the thief maker again.
Also, I mean, the thief maker might have been dead by that point. Like he
Oh
probably
yeah, he
wasn't doing
probably was
super
dead.
well at which point. I don't remember the last
And he was
point.
pretty old when he like picked up Locke. So
Yeah. Yeah, and there was one incident where like he kind of implied that the thief maker was somewhat losing his grip over those
Mhm.
kids. Yeah. So yes, I would do Father James.
Can he be my
To sum
dad?
it all up.
Thank God we didn't have Thief Maker here.
I could see Father James being gay. He might be gay.
I don't know if I'd sex con him. I think I'm gonna take Vic's dad option.
Okay.
Yeah, dad option.
1 in 10, guys. 1 in 10. Is Bug underage?
Yes.
Yeah. 16, I'm pretty sure.
Awkward.
Okay, so I'll just say has potential. The Sansa's right in with the sharks.
They are funny though, but it's only
I
going
mean,
to
like
take you
they
so
must
far.
have. I mean, like they're like the village bicycle of Kamor. They're like, I just can't.
They're
I
a
just
double
don't want to.
bicycle.
I just don't want to imagine where they've been at all. I'll take the
No,
sharks. Thank
they only go to the Gilded Lilies, so you know.
I don't think so.
No.
I would sex con them.
Both of them?
Yeah.
At the same time.
I mean, if you're
Yeah,
gonna do
yeah,
one,
they
you
come
must
as
do
a
both.
pair.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Vic?
I don't know. I'm scared.
It's like, because like, does Locke's world have like STDs? They must, but like,
Yeah.
They do,
no one
I
ever makes a
think.
reference to like loving unwisely. So.
I remember the village, the dog leashes making a comment on that.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
there was something about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they aren't stupid, but
No.
you know,
Oh,
they seem overwhelmingly crude to me. And I know that the series is full of very crude people, but for some reason the Sanzas just seem like they go places that Locke won't go. I don't know.
why do
They
you
just
get that impression? I mean, they drink a lot, they do stuff, but not harmful or anything like that.
Yeah.
no. But
And in fact, they're like, yeah, like as we mentioned before, like they actually backed off when Sabbath had told them to fucking
Yeah,
back off.
yeah.
no, that's true. But if they didn't know her and didn't respect, I'm not saying that they would rape anybody. I'm not saying that. But like, I could see them being like street harassers
Yeah.
for somebody they didn't know. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I
that's
could see
not,
that.
like.
Possibly.
I mean, here's the example that comes to my mind is when they were traveling to Espa, they stopped by this town and they are gonna go and gamble with the village folk, and they were gonna cheat them, right? I mean, these guys are poor people. It's a poor village, not as rich as Kamar. And when Locke mentions that, they stop immediately, and also uh when is it Chantel, the one that kills Baron Buldazi? They are the ones that immediately
No,
sober
I think that's
up and
Chinora.
Chinora,
Because
right?
with the scissors. Yeah.
Oh, right, right. They are the ones who kind of sober up and immediately get locked and everything.
True.
Yeah.
They're a mixed bag.
Hmm.
I don't know. I guess it's just we never, other than what you just mentioned, Vic, we never see them do anything like I guess we never really
Yeah,
see them make any choices, right? So it's
Well, I think one of them made that choice to like chug that nasty thing.
that was pretty
yeah, and that turned
hilarious.
out well. That's very attractive.
That's the kind of thing my friends would do, though, which is why I like them.
But I mean, well, okay, it's acceptable at that age, but like
Yeah.
by the time the book, I don't know, maybe they're not that dumb. I don't know. Whatever. I just have a weird bias against the Sanzas. Maybe
Fair
it's because their
enough.
name sounds like Sansa.
Wait, you hate Sansa?
No, I love Sansa,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're so not like her that I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now.
Mm.
Okay, Sabbatha.
Mary.
I would one night. I think you need some distance with Sabbatha.
Yeah, I would say one night con.
No, I would marry her.
Yeah, the thing is with Sabbatha, you have to treat her like the queen she is.
Yes.
She's intense and scary and would be kind of overwhelming, so she sounds like my perfect woman.
But like, what if you like? I don't know. What if you were into her hair? Like, that's bad, right? She doesn't like that.
I don't even like redheads, so it's perfect.
Yeah, like.
Oh my god, the story that she told what happens to
That was
redhead girl.
horrifying.
Oh,
Oh my
that's
god,
like
I could
even
not handle
even
that.
Game of Thrones wouldn't, or Song of Ice and Fire wouldn't have anything that dark, or does it?
Yeah.
No, that was really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. But I mean, I felt bad for both of them in that because, like, obviously Locke had no idea, and like he just liked her hair because it was pretty, But like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I like their relationship because you can kind of see it from both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Vikram put the spider on this list.
I thought it was going to be character discussion.
Hey, she can be my sugar mama, so.
This is true. That's a good
True.
option.
Well, you can be one of the 5 towers, so that's pretty. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna marry her and then she dies and you get to keep the
Exactly.
tower, so that's win-win. Littlefinger option.
Yeah.
Right. A little finger option. You throw her off the tower. Is there anyone else from book one? I'm just trying to think. Not really.
The Falconer.
The Falconer.
But would
Sharks.
anyone have the Falconer?
Sharks.
Yeah. No,
The
sharks.
Salvaras also.
Oh, Nazca.
Oh,
Mary.
Nazca.
Mary.
Mary, probably, although I might not like being bossed around so much.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd be probably somewhere between Mary and, like, Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah, date. I mean, it doesn't seem like the best option for my longevity to be dating her just because she has many enemies.
I would
This is
also
true.
marry her. So
No, she's cool. She's actually one of the characters that like you can obviously I get such a kick of reading her when she's a child, but like when you see her, you see how she's grown up. Like she's obviously more mature. She actually reminds me a lot of Asha Greyjoy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad they killed her so soon. I wouldn't
I
marry
know.
her because of the in-laws. Actually, I wouldn't have to deal with her because of the in-laws. Not even one night marry. She has 2 brothers who can come after you.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh,
On a positive note, this world has moon tea in it.
Yes, that is true.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it does, but
right. When the Countess Anatonia or something, she's talking with Sabetha, right? And she does mention about a tea that she can drink if needed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that it's way easier in Fantasy World. Contraception, not a big deal in fantasy.
Well, there actually used to be plants like that in the real world. They were just used too much and driven to extinction.
Yeah. And they probably tasted nasty.
Whatever, if it means that and not getting pregnant,
See,
sure.
This is true.
Do that in a heartbeat.
Anyway, the Salvaras. I like the Salvaras.
yeah, me too.
I would sex con the Salvaras.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the Ilya and Oberyn Martell. I mean, not as smart, but like still cute.
Wait, they're like Elia and Oberyn, or like
Elaria.
Elaria.
That's what I meant.
That's disturbing.
They're both bisexual, or
No.
No,
I wouldn't be surprised as Kamar, but like
right. I sort of think that Donya Salvara is more the Oberyn.
yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope she comes back. Actually.
I love all the female characters in these books.
Yeah.
Just why they need to come back and be in more than one book.
Yeah, I kind of think Scott Lynch and I have similar taste. Like I've never really thought about it before, but it's kind of scary.
No, but you said you don't like redheads, though.
True, but like all their personality stuff.
Yeah, I want Daniel Silvara to come back. Also, I really like how he ends the Silvaras. Like, I think that he does something kind of. He does get very, like, I don't know, not political, but very. A little preachy with, like, oh, look, all these rich people, like, especially with the Salon Carbo, like, and the only thing they do is bad stuff with their money.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
Salvaras are sort of, like, you start to think that about them, and then you kind of realize, like, they're just kind of normal people. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not saying they do everything right. Like, they could probably give a ton more charity and make a much bigger difference than they do. But, like, they're just kind of people doing their thing, you know? And, like, they have great, basically good intentions. And, you know, I like that he doesn't, like, rake them over the coals. He's, like, he kind of sets them up as having the potential to do good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like the servant does mention it, right? When Locke was getting fake robbed, the Dawn that did come to help, and not many people would do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And wasn't there, I forget James's story, but he had two guys, right, that he got through the war with, and one of them was
one of them was Jasmer, right?
right.
And then the other one was
a noble, right?
no, that guy who taught
Who-
John
who-
how to
yeah.
fight, how to wreck shit.
Oh,
Right.
right. Oh, he was cool.
Yeah.
He was really
No,
cool.
I don't think I don't think Jasmine was one of his war buddies. He met Jasmine when he was also pretending to be a actor. His other buddy was the farmer who Locke went to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
So
That
one
we still
became the
don't know anything
farmer,
about.
one became the priest, one became the chief general or something.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Cool. Okay. So Zamira.
Mary.
Mary.
Yeah, I would say Mary also.
I don't like ships.
I like the
So-
ocean, and she's scary, and also I like kids, so it's perfect.
I would need a lot of time. But I could see her. I could see her being a Mary. Esri?
Yes.
I would
I'd
sex
con
Esri.
her. Yeah, con.
Yeah.
Same.
That
Hey, she's good enough for John, and she's good enough for me.
was a little ham-fisted. Like the way they fall in love. It's like, oh, we're
Yeah.
both intelligent and we both know. Like, it's fine. I don't like these things that I object to in the books. I don't have a huge problem with, but like, yeah, that I was a little bit like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You could sort of see where it was going.
So in
Yeah.
our world, that would be the Twilight book, right? That these two are reading together. So, okay, I'm having change. I need to change my mind then. Shark.
Bad taste.
It would
Oh.
be interesting if they were both reading Songs of Ice and Fire together, and they were exchanging Dario and Danny's
Yeah.
lines.
Yup.
That'd be
hysterical.
amazing.
Oh no, John and Egret's lines. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
John Shannon.
I love it.
No,
Oh.
it needed to be Danny and Dario.
No, well, yeah, you're right. And I guess Egret would be
Yeah.
no, wait, oh my gosh.
Oh,
Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
But it's the reverse, right? Egret was the one seducing Jon Snow in it.
Yeah, but there's some of the like real people interacting parts of their relationship remind me of Egret and John.
Mm.
Also, I think Sabbatha is anyway a lot more experienced than Locke.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just in general. I mean, I don't even know.
I mean, like I don't want to make any assumptions here, but I kind of imagine that she would have to be if she's making her career off like robbing rich dudes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, they have a conversation about that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
she's like, you really,
Like, are you really okay with the fact that I haven't been, or that I've been with more men than you? Or, I mean, not more. I mean, that I've had other partners of the sexual nature.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Any other characters?
Patience.
Nope.
Wasn't she supposed to be like really hot when she was young?
Probably.
I don't remember that, but she could probably use glamour.
Nope. Definitely nope. I'll shark pit.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to get involved with that magic. So
Yeah.
sharks.
Definitely sharks.
Do you guys buy that Patience got killed so easily? kind of like,
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, it is kind of like, it is
yeah,
kind of suspicious, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know, we'll see.
yeah. I guess she was feeling guilty about whatever she did, killing the 75 mages of the opposite party. So
Hmm.
she probably must have set it up in so that Falconer can kill her, leaving
Hmm.
Dreamsteel in a room next door and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
you want to discuss anything else? I think
I
we're
don't
coming
know.
to an end.
Who else? Like,
Oh, there's Requiem, there's Seldari.
oh yeah,
You have to take them together, though. They're a package.
yeah, no, I'd con them.
Yeah, I'd sex con them. Though I'd be worried that I would take away something other than what I wanted.
Yeah,
Requiem's supposed to be ugly looking, right? He's got very goofy looking or something. I kind of picture
yeah,
him
but
as Joker.
really, I mean, no, because Scott Lynch mentioned this that he could only think of one person when he thinks of Reckon, and it's that guy from Ocean's 12 who does the laser dance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to look at it.
I'll send you the link. So that guy is not ugly. He has more of like a
Oh, the French actor.
yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Just give him gold glasses or something. Make his nose a
Yeah.
bit more pointier.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Let's see who else. There's the Kappa Bravasi. Oh no, the sisters, the shark fighting sisters.
Yep.
Yep.
At the same time, yep, I'd con them.
Yeah, sex con.
Sex con.
Like the Sanzas, you have to do both, though.
Hmm.
Uh,
That
then
would be
let's.
dangerous, though.
It would be dangerous.
No, but like, see, like I'd frisk them first, so they could be so I'd make sure that they're unarmed.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
Wonder what Scotland thinks of twins, right? Because they're both both sets of twins that we
Oh,
have are like interchangeable in the books.
yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that, especially because in the third book they have Callow and Galdo like differentiating themselves from each other, but Lynch didn't really differentiate them in the text or as characters.
Yeah.
Oh, they are twins? I didn't get that.
Hollow and Galdo?
No, I'm not. No, the Benghazi sisters or whatever.
My God.
Betty and Jess, I think their name is.
Very anxious.
Actually, maybe they're not twins. I just think of them as twins, but maybe they're
Yeah.
not. The last book in the series is supposed to be called Inherit the Night, which just seems unbearably creepy to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like Inherit the Wind, so
Oh, yeah.
That's
We
not
should do a
what-
hate podcast.
Oh, you're right. They are twin sisters. One's name is Riza, and the other one's Cherin, right?
I think so.
Probably. The Grey King.
Nope.
We don't know enough
Mhm.
about him.
Sharks.
Yeah, sharks.
Sharks.
Oh yeah. It didn't seem to like
Barsavi.
he has a good personality.
Wasabi, sharks?
Kappa Barsavi.
Yep, definitely sharks for
Sharks,
sure.
sharks.
Man,
Yeah,
that scene when he tortured one of the people, I think, I forget
was
the gang
Yeah.
name.
That was horrifying.
Yeah.
Especially since you knew that the guy was innocent. It was, like, ridiculous and
Yeah.
Yeah.
awful. I feel like we're missing somebody obvious, but
Oh, Jasmine Moncrane.
sharks.
Yeah,
Sharks.
definitely.
No, I love Jasmine Moncrane. He's one of my favorite characters.
He
in
stole
story.
the money.
Yeah, he's the best.
That scene where they were doing fake voices with oh man,
That was
felt so
hilarious.
awkward. That was so awkward. I'm picturing a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old Sabata with this 80-year-old guy or 60-year-old guy.
That play was so much fun. It was
Yeah,
like,
it was.
and I really wanted it to go well.
Me too. I also just love stuff about plays because I love plays. So,
Yeah. I want to do a Shakespeare Bach also, possibly more than one.
oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I really want to do that, but a lot of these things, I'm like, I will start them at some point when I actually have time to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are all the people that we would have sex with, or not.
All of them.
Oh, did we say the sharks? Sorry. Okay. Did you guys get that joke? Okay, never mind. Forget it. I'm sorry. Moving on. So, this has been our discussion of Scott Lynch's The Gentleman Bastard sequence, and anyway, thank you so much for listening, and hopefully we'll be back when the Thorn of Emberlane comes out. Maybe Vic will be back. We'll try and strong arm him into reading it.
We will.
Yes, exactly. And stay tuned. Maybe Scott Lynch will be making an appearance on our Mothership podcast, Podcast of Ice and Fire, possibly.
That is the word on the street. Jesus, wait, Michal, you're in 3 of the last 8 episodes.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
It's actually 3 of the last 5. That's unbelievable.
Oh my, are you gonna replace Ashley?
I don't think so. I think people would be really mad, and I wouldn't want to. I mean, like, I'm a Valker, man.
Yeah, be okay for life.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like hopping in and like being all like, ooh, Podcast of Ice and Fire. All right.
I'll see you guys later. Good night.
All right. Have a good night,
Good
guys.
night.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Thieves prosper.
Yes, these prosper.
Podcasters prosper.
Podcasters prosper. Bye.
Bye, guys. I'm gonna have a hard time with pronunciation during this podcast, I mean, how do you say Camor?
Kamor. That's what I
Kamor.
say.
Or I
Camor
think
and
officially you
Kamori?
say it like Kamor with that
Kamor.
at the end.
But,
If you say
I can't do
or.
that.
Then Loch Lamora is easy, Callo and Galdo Sansa.
It's more fun if you say
Jean.
them kind of funny, though.
Yeah. And I think Scott Lynch has said that he doesn't care how anyone pronounces it.
How do you
So-
say Nazca Basavi or
Yeah.
Basavi? Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Kappa and then Kappa Barasi. Erzi Del Mastro. Just Erzi is fine, right?
Esri.
Ezri, okay.
Yeah.
Then it's Zamira, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zamira. Then is it Requiem?
Reckon? That's what I said.
Reckon, okay.
Oh, I said Requin, but
Requin.
Requin.
Requin. I said Requin, too.
Then Salendry, is that right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duke Nico is easy, I guess.
Yeah.
Then
Well, I guess Requin. Reckon. If you say it kind of French-like, it's like French for it's shark in French.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So how do you say Talvera? Is
I
that
say Telvarar, but
Yeah.
I say Talvarar.
Talvera? Okay.
I
What
don't.
country is it
It's
supposed to be?
It's a
I
city-state,
have no
right?
idea.
It's
Is
a
it-
They're all
yeah.
city-states.
Talvera is city-state. Except for the Emberlands, they are own country. I think the Seven Mauros or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Emberlane is
That's-
supposed to
They're
be
very German, right?
Yeah, they're
a
like a
mixture of
kingdom.
Germany and Russia, I think.
But
I
they're like
yeah. I pictured Denmark kind of people in their black hats and that overall coat.
That's
Uh,
true.
I think they're supposed to be kind of kind of like the Hanseatic League,
Mm.
which were these like Baltic merchant states. So they have a little bit of like kind of Russian, like Finnish vibe, but they're very German mostly.
Yeah, I buy that. Then it's Baron Buldazi.
Bulidazi.
Buladatsi? I thought it was
Maybe?
Buladatsi, like that.
Oh crap! I
Yeah.
forgot the city name. What is it? Espra?
Espara.
Espara.
Yeah.
Espara.
Espara.
This is good that we're going through this because I don't remember
Yeah.
half of these people.
Then it's Jasmer Moncrane.
Yeah.
Jasmer Moncrane. I'll call him
I guess
just
it'd be something like Mont Blanc, like Montcrane.
Moncrane. Then Maximilian Strategos.
Stragos.
Okay. Then let's see.
Or
Don and
Stragos,
Donna
I-
Salvara.
I think it's an Enye kind of sound.
Yeah, it's Don and Donya.
Dunya, yeah.
That's what the little squiggle over the N is.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's what's the sister's name? Beirangis sisters?
How's it spelled again?
I have no idea.
Beran.
I'd say Brangias.
Brangius.
I don't know.
Yes.
I have a weird Mid-Atlantic accent. Just ignore me.
And I can't seem to find the spider's real name, so we'll just call her the spider.
Doña Forchenza.
Forchenza.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, Fonza. Okay.
Also, I'll think of Varys when I hear spider. So
Yeah. Well, probably better apologize for all the pronunciation on my behalf.
Yeah.
Okay.